If you're over 60 and walking is your main exercise, I need you to stop right now and listen to this. What I'm about to share could add years to your life and life to your years. A leading surgeon just revealed that there's an exercise that does something walking simply cannot do for your aging body, and it's been hiding in plain sight. I know that sounds dramatic, but stick with me because in the next 12 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly why this exercise is being called the fountain of youth movement by medical professionals, why it's surgeon approved, and most importantly how you can start doing it today. Even if you haven't exercised in years, my name is, and I've spent the last decade researching longevity and healthy aging. But this discovery, it came from an unexpected conversation with Dr. Peter Attia, a renowned surgeon and longevity expert who works with some of the healthiest people over 60 in the world. Before we dive in, let me be clear, walking is fantastic. I'm not telling you to stop walking. But if walking is all you're doing, you're missing the single most important element of aging well, and the consequences, they're more serious than you think. Let me paint you a picture. You're 65 years old. You walk every day, maybe 30 minutes, an hour even. You feel good about yourself. You're doing more than most people your age. But then one day, you slip on a wet floor, or you try to catch yourself from falling, or you simply try to stand up from a low chair. And in that split second, everything changes. Here's what most people don't understand about aging. The number one predictor of whether you'll maintain your independence after 60 isn't your heart health. It isn't your flexibility, and it isn't even your endurance. It's your strength. Let me share some sobering statistics with you. After age 60, you lose approximately 3% of your muscle mass every single year if you're not actively working to prevent it. That means by age 70, you could have lost 30% of your muscle mass. By 80, you could have lost half. This condition has a name, sarcopenia, and it's responsible for 90% of hip fractures in the elderly, a massive increase in fall risk, and falling is the leading cause of injury death in people over 65, loss of independence, because you can no longer lift yourself, carry groceries, or perform basic daily activities, a decline in metabolic health, because muscle is your body's largest metabolic organ. Now, here's the critical part that surgeons see every single day in their operating rooms. When an older adult falls and breaks a hip, the survival rate within 1 year drops to just 50–70%. That's not because of the fall itself. It's because they didn't have the muscle strength to prevent the fall in the first place, and they don't have the strength to recover afterward. Dr. Attia puts it bluntly, the weakest people in their 60s become the sickest, and most dependent people in their 70s and 80s. It's almost entirely preventable. So what's the exercise that changes everything? Resistance training, strength training, or more specifically, progressive resistance exercise with proper form and consistency. Now, I can already hear some of you saying, but I'm too old to lift weights, or that's for bodybuilders, or I don't want to get bulky. Stop right there. This is the exact myth that's keeping you weak, fragile, and at risk. Let me explain why resistance training is literally the closest thing we have to a miracle drug for aging. Walking is weight-bearing, which is good. But resistance training creates a mechanical load on your bones that walking simply cannot match. Studies show that resistance training can increase bone density by 1–3% per year in older adults. That's the difference between osteoporosis and strong bones. Muscle mass, this is the big one. Resistance training is the exercise that can reverse sarcopenia. Not slow it down, reverse it. A 70-year-old who does proper strength training can build as much muscle as they had at 50. Metabolic muscle is metabolically active tissue. The more muscle you have, the better your blood sugar control, the healthier your cholesterol levels, and the more efficiently your body burns fat. Many people reverse their type 2 diabetes through strength training alone. BLNCE and coordinate and resistance training improves your neuromuscular connection, the communication between your brain and muscles. This dramatically reduces fall risk. Confiance, and when you're strong, you can live your life without fear. You can play with grandchildren, travel, garden, and maintain your independence for decades longer. Attia reviewed the research and found that people over 60 who do resistance training 2-3 times per week have a 46% lower risk of all-cause mortality compared to those who only do cardio or walking. 46%. Now let's get into the science a bit more, because I want you to understand why this works so powerfully. When you lift weights or use resistance bands, or even do bodyweight exercises, you create micro-tears in your muscle fibers. Your body responds by repairing those tears and making the muscle stronger and larger. This process is called muscle protein synthesis, and here's the amazing part: it works at ANYH. A landmark study published in the Journal of Applied Physiology took people in their 70s and 90s, yes 90s, and put them on a progressive resistance training program. Within just 8 weeks they saw the 113% increase in muscle strength, 4% increase in muscle size, significant improvements in walking speed and balance. One participant was 96 years old and had been using a walker. After 8 weeks of resistance training, she was walking independently. Another study from the American Journal of Medicine followed 500 people over 65 for 10 years. Those who did resistance training had 33% lower risk of cognitive decline, better sleep quality, lower rates of depression and anxiety, higher quality of life scores. The surgeon perspective is crucial here, too. Orthopedic surgeons see the difference between their patients who have been doing strength training versus those who haven't. The strong patients recover from surgery 40% faster, have fewer complications, return to independence much quicker, often don't need surgery at all because they never got injured in the first place. Dr. Attia calls resistance training the best insurance policy you can buy for your future self. And unlike actual insurance, it costs nothing and has zero negative side effects when done properly. Alright, so you're convinced, you want to start. But how do you actually do this safely and effectively if you're over 60 and you've never lifted weights before? Here's your complete beginner's guide. Step 1. Jet medicire ince. Talk to your doctor first, especially if you have any chronic conditions, joint issues, or haven't exercised in a while. Most doctors will be thrilled you're asking about strength training. Step 20. Start gudu IGHTA and UGHT RASS TNCE. You don't need a gym membership or expensive equipment. You can start with chair squats, wall push-ups, seated leg raises, resistance bands, light dumbbells. The key is progressive over 80. You gradually increase the difficulty over time. This week you do 8 reps, next week 9 reps, the week after 10 reps. Then you increase the weight slightly and drop back to 8 reps. This gradual progression is what builds strength safely. St 3 su fes onts or movements. Your program should include a pushing exercise, a pulling exercise, a squatting movement, a hip hinge, core exercises. Your training movement patterns, not individual muscles. Stay volume. Start with 2 days per week, with at least 1 rest day between sessions. Each session should be 30-40 minutes. As you build strength and confidence, you can increase to 3 days per week. Do 2-3 sets of 8-12 repetitions for each exercise. The last few reps should feel challenging but not impossible. Step 5. Prioritize form over MHT. This is critical. Perfect form with light weight is infinitely better than sloppy form with heavy weight. Consider working with a trainer for your first few sessions to learn proper form. Many trainers specialize in working with older adults. Step 60. Lustin to your buoy. You should feel muscle fatigue during the workout and some mild soreness the next day. That's normal and good. But sharp pain, joint pain, or severe soreness means you've done too much too fast. Scale back and progress more gradually. Step 7. Be consistent. This is not a quick fix. You need to commit to this for life. But here's the good news. You'll start feeling stronger within 2-3 weeks. You'll see visible changes within 8-12 weeks. And within 6 months, you'll feel like a different person. Let me give you a simple starter routine you can do at home right now. BGNROUTE. Chair squats 2 sets of 10 reps, wall push-ups 2 sets of 10 reps, seated rows with resistance band 2 sets of 10 reps, standing heel raises 2 sets of 15 reps, plank hold 2 sets of 20-30 seconds. That's it. 20 minutes twice a week. That's all it takes to start transforming your future. And remember, it's never too late. Whether you're 60, 70, 80, or 90, your muscles will respond. The human body is remarkably adaptable at any age. Let me share a quick story that illustrates why this matters so much. I recently met a woman named Margaret. She's 73 years old. 3 years ago, she was doing what most people do, walking every day, eating reasonably well, but getting weaker year by year. She struggled to carry her groceries. She couldn't play on the floor with her grandchildren. She was terrified of falling. Then her daughter convinced her to try resistance training with a trainer who specialized in older adults. Margaret was skeptical and scared, but she gave it a shot. Fast forward 3 years. Margaret now deadlifts 135 pounds. She does push-ups. She carries her own luggage when she travels. She gets down on the floor to play with her grandkids and gets back up without help. She recently went on a hiking trip to Patagonia. She told me, "I feel stronger now at 73 than I did at 63. I got a decade of my life back. I'm not aging backward, but I'm aging so much better. That's what's possible." That's what strength training offers you. Not just more years in your life, but more life in your years. You have a choice right now. You can continue doing what you're doing and accept the gradual decline. Or you can take control and build the strongest, most resilient version of yourself for the decades ahead. Your 80-year-old self is counting on the decision you make today. So here's what I want you to do right now. First, if you found this video helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. I create content like this every week to help you live your healthiest, longest life. Second, share this video with someone over 60 who needs to hear this message. You could literally change someone's life by sharing this. Third, commit to starting this week, not next week, not next month, this week. Do one resistance training session. Just one. See how you feel. I promise you, you'll be glad you did. And finally, leave a comment below telling me, what's your biggest concern or question about starting strength training after 60? I read every comment and I'll do my best to answer your questions. Remember, walking is great. Keep doing it. But add resistance training, and you'll transform everything. Your strongest years can still be ahead of you. Let's make them count. I'll see you in the next video.